Larry first met Carmen at a friend's birthday party. They instantly took a liking to each other and continued talking over social media. When they first started hanging out, Carmen seemed almost too good to be true. She was beautiful, smart, and a lot of fun to be around. This changed drastically after the relationship became official, though. Carmen became extremely possessive and jealous. She would lose her shit every time another girl liked one of Larry's photos, even if it was only a photo of his dog. She tried to demand that Larry delete every girl who wasn't blood related off social media, and even started stalking Larry when they weren't together. Needless to say, the relationship didn't last long. When Larry broke up with her, Carmen flew into a rage. She started smashing things and screaming. Larry was glad he'd broken up with her at her own house after seeing how she reacted. Carmen made a few attempts to get back together with Larry. She continued stalking him and even assaulted a woman that Larry was on a date with. She stormed into the restaurant and stabbed his date with a fork while they were at dinner. After this incident, Larry got a restraining order. Carmen couldn't stand the thought of Larry being with another woman, so she came up with a plan to make sure he never would be. She convinced one of her very attractive cousins to lure Larry to a hotel room and drug him. Carmen's cousin was almost as unhinged as she was, and agreed to help her out for a price. Larry went out with Megan, completely unaware that she was related to his crazy ex. He ended up going back to her hotel room where they did a couple of shots. After taking his second shot, Larry noticed his body becoming increasingly heavy. He felt tired all of a sudden and realized he'd been drugged. It was too late though. Before he could even get himself over to a chair, Larry collapsed on the floor. Megan then texted her cousin, who had been waiting outside, and let her in. When Larry woke up, he was in a bathtub full of ice. His penis had been removed, and there was a note next to the sink which read, "This is what you get for breaking up with me." Fortunately for Larry, Carmen had stitched him up well enough that he hadn't lost too much blood. Unfortunately, she had taken the severed penis with her, and they were unable to reattach it at the hospital. When Carmen was arrested, the penis was found in a jar of formaldehyde beside her bed. Jessie got her first job when she was 18 years old. She'd been applying everywhere since she was old enough to work, but unfortunately no one had even given her an interview. It wasn't her fault though, just bad luck. Someone with a more impressive resume would always get the job. Eventually, Jessie resorted to posting on community pages and forums looking for pet sitting jobs. It didn't take long for Jessie to receive a message from some guy asking if she was available to pet sit for his cat over the weekend. She responded instantly and agreed. The guy's name was Neil, and he'd asked that she stay Friday and Saturday night for $150, plus extra for food. Jessie met Neil at his house on Friday after school. Neil showed her around and explained that Barry was a very old cat and got nervous around new people. He said that Barry would probably hide most of the time, but as long as he was eating and using the litter box, she didn't need to worry. After Neil left, Jessie ordered a pizza and watched some Netflix. Before bed, she left some food out for Barry and made sure he had fresh cat litter. When Jessie got into bed, she could hear Barry shuffling around beneath her. She lowered her hand for Barry to sniff and felt his soft fur brush against her hand. Jessie didn't see Barry at all the next day, but there was a giant toad in the litter box and most of the food she'd left out had been eaten. The following night, Jessie noticed a horrible smell coming from under the bed and thought that Barry must have been sick. She got down on her hands and knees to look and found Neil. He was completely naked, staring at her with wild, crazy eyes and holding on to a dead cat. Jessie ran outside screaming and got the attention of some neighbours who called the police for her. The police found Neil while searching the house, still naked, still holding on to a dead cat. Jessie was later told that the house she'd been staying in had actually belonged to Neil's uncle, whose name happened to be Barry. Neil had known that his uncle was going overseas and had used the opportunity to squat in his house and act out some deranged fantasy. Neil had found the cat he'd been holding on the side of the road, already dead. He had planned to leave it on Jessie's pillow while she slept. Jessie never found out exactly what was wrong with Neil, but he had seemed completely normal during her first interaction with him. She never took any pet sitting jobs again.